Hello and welcome to Novak Guitars. Thank you for joining me. Now, I don't know if you recall from my last video. If you haven't, feel free to go back and watch it. I did the shaping of the neck. Off camera, I actually put a little infill in, cut the slot to depth for the truss rod. She was sitting a little bit proud before. I've changed that and extended it up here for it to fit. I've got to cut the access slot and drill the hole through, but I'm going to do that when I come to shaping the head, but that's not going to be in this video. Something else that I have done off camera is I've glued the top up and rough cut it to shape. The camera's not picking up really the finish. Well, it's not finished, is it? But it's not picking up the pattern so well. But I'll show you that better when it's sanded. You'll get a better picture of that. But what I am going to be doing today is I'm going to be drilling the hole for the toggle switch, and from the back I'm going to be drilling this out for the volume control cavity. I'm going straight through the body on this one, purely because the top is what I'm going to fix the volume pot and the toggle switch to, and hopefully I'll be routing some channels through for the wiring as well. I'm thinking I'm going to do that first, save on awkward drilling with a long drill bit. I could do that afterwards. I've done it on other guitars, but I just think while I've not got a top on here, it's going to make it a little bit easier. So that's something else I'm going to do. But yeah, hopefully I'll get that done in today's video. But rather than me waffling on, I'll just show you. Eh? Here we go. Okay, so for this part, as you can see, I didn't use a template for this curve here, and the reason for that is I haven't actually got a template cut for this one yet, for the cavity. So what the way I've done this is by holding the side and using my finger as a depth stop against the edge of the body. So as I've brought the router round, I can feel the edge of the body, and that has given me a smooth edge there to follow. Now, before I do the recess for the cavity plate, or cavity cover, whatever you want to call it, I will actually be cutting one out for that on the template that I've got. And but what I'm going to do now to get because this is the internal carve that I'm doing, I'm going to get a straight edge super glue masking tape down here, just so I can run the router along there and give myself a nice straight edge. Once that's done, I can then lower the router bit and use the bearing guide on the top of that to follow what I've done, and that's going to go all the way through, and I'll clean up all this roughness. That'll be nice and smooth, and then it will be on to cutting the cavity for the cavity cover. I have actually got a template that I'm going to be using for the internal one here, but I'm sure you've used templates before. If not, you'll see when I come to do this one how the templates work, but for this one it may not be on camera, but we'll see. Here we go anyway. Just using a neck template here that I know has got a straight edge. That's going to sit against the flat of the router, and then I've got this cut a bit down, just the cutters exposed, not the bearing, and then I'm going to run that. I've got it in to the corner that I want there. I'm going to put this in. Find a pencil. I'm going to put a pencil mark in. There's one somewhere. There it is. And then to make sure it's straight, measure down to that line from the centre line. 15mm, and I'm going to do the same down here. So now I know I can put my straight edge there, if I can get it out the shadow. And when I stick that down, I'll be able to run my router down there, and that edge will be nice and straight. So as you can see, got a nice straight edge there. I'm just going to tidy this up a little bit, and the same here, and then it will be ready to lower the rotor down and use the guide on the rotor bearing, the bearing on the rotor bit, to follow that down and to take that down to get it nice and smooth. So now I'm ready to do the cavity recess for the cover, and I'm going to show you now how I measure that. I've got the template that I'm going to use for the cavity cover recess already. It's already in place, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I measure to get the right depth for the recess itself. So just bear with me a second while I move the camera. Okay, so hopefully you can see this okay. I apologise about the lighting. I'm working on that for future videos. What I've done is, as I've said before, I've fixed the template to the body already, just using masking tape and super glue. So I know it's in place, ready for the cavity cover recess. To get the right depth for the cut, because I want the cavity covers sit flush with the body, so I need to only cut this depth out of the body. So in order to get the right depth on the router, what I do is I get the material I'm going to be cutting the recess for, sit it on top of the template, and then I push the router so that the router bit is sat just on touching the surface of the guitar body. And so then I can set the depth stop so that I know it's not going to move any lower. And then when I take this piece away, as you can see now here, with the base of the router sat on the template, the cutter sits at the depth that I want it to cut at. So now I'll show you exactly what I'm going to be, well, I'll show you the cut. And then when I take the template off, you'll see the recess cut. Okay, so as you can see, I've got the toggle switch cavity cover recess cut. I'm going to do the same for the volume switch cover. As it is though, I haven't actually made the template for that. This is a new shape that I'm making. So there's certain parts to this, although I've got the shape for the body in the template, as you've seen in previous videos done, there is an element of making stuff on the go, templates being one of those. So what I'm going to do is make a separate video about how I make my templates, and so I'll go into a bit more depth in that one, and once I've done that, I'll be then once I've made the template, then I'll be cutting the cavity recess in the same way as I've just done with the toggle switch cavity. So that's not going to be in this video, but in the next video I'll be showing you the routing the channels for the wiring and then gluing the top on. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I think it's starting to look more like a guitar now. So fun times, and yeah, I think we'll call it a day at that. And I just want to thank you all for watching. I'd like to thank you new subscribers as well for joining. Really appreciate it. It's nice to see there's people interested in what I'm doing, and I hope what I'm doing is helpful in the videos. Always looking to improve, so if there's anything in particular you think you'd like to see, maybe something explaining in a bit more in depth in a video, then I'll be happy to do that. Just leave me a comment, let me know what you think. As this is part of the Use What You Got challenge, I'm not the only one doing this. As I've said before in other videos, and I'm sure you've seen other videos from the other guys doing it. Go check them out. The links to all their channels and Instagram pages are in the description. So if you haven't already, go over to their channels, check them out, give them your support, and again, thank you, really appreciate it. So I'm going to stop the waffle, I'm going to get on with a bit more work, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks again, have a good weekend, take care.